say to me, not sure you keep good company. Let me explain the way it started when two comets come into contact and parted. Stuck in your mind from the last time it was started. A grayscale or a fine line to you were guarded. Now it's time for by the vibe started to amplify, not simplify. They said we'd never get it. They said we'd never win. They said we'd never get it. Never doubt me. There's one lesson left to learn. Accept no less than you deserve. Circle of hate you inspired. Self-hate desire makes you a liar. It's not like you've been wrong. No question you're that strong. No words can never hold you down. They said we'd never get it. They said we'd never win. They said we'd never get it. Never doubt me. They said we'd never get it. They said we'd never win. They said we'd never get it. Never doubt me. It's all a lie. You feel this fight. That's just more fuel for you. Don't lose your mind. It's worth your strife. Take hold. It's all for you. They said we'd never get it. They said we'd never win. They said we'd never get it. Never doubt me. They said we'd never get it. They said we'd never win. They said we'd never get it. Never, never doubt me. Never, never doubt me.
Sound resumed.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Spotter Stand, coming at you live from Charlotte. Raced Charlotte last week, gonna race it one more week. Getting ready to do another week of racing in all three series at Charlotte. Once again in the booth with us, we've got BSR Pockets and BSR Hot Rod. How you guys doing this evening?
Pretty good. What's up, everybody?
Well, as we all know, it was All-Star Week this last week. We had some bonus point races and some great racing at Charlotte. So let's get right to it here. All-Star Week, we had races in all three series, Truck, Cup, and Xfinity, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday night at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Wednesday night, we ran the Truck Series at Charlotte. And in the trucks, the bonus point Victor, of course, the top 5 all got some bonus points, but the winner ends up with 3 bonus points in each of these races. And Wednesday night in the truck series, it was BSR Mayhem in that number 4 Ford. What is that? A Fusion? It's a Ford, whatever it is. But BSR
Escort.
Ford Escort.
Yeah.
Mayhem
Dress.
dominating the race on Wednesday night in that number 4 truck, bringing home the victory, bringing home 3 bonus points towards his chase in the truck series. Great job, Mayhem. Awesome job. Mayhem was going to try to join us here tonight. I don't think
He's in here.
Is he here? Hey, what are you doing, Mayhem? I had everything muted during the pre-show. I didn't hear you come in. Welcome, Mayhem, and awesome job, man. Great race on Wednesday night. Like I said, you dominated that race, man, and brought yourself 3 bonus points home toward your chase in the truck series. Great job.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a hell of a race. That truck setup is just bad to the bone, and all you need to do is do it right, and it worked. And yeah, it was a hell of a lot of fun, man. Rusty almost got me there at the end. But it was great racing.
Now,
Did you?
go ahead, Pockets.
I was going to ask, did you eat the soup that was in the cans that you were using with the string tied together, or did you have to pour it in a bowl and put it in the refrigerator, or what?
This is the best you're getting right now on this laptop.
I got you. So you must be out and about or something to where you can communicate over the interwebs.
I do have Wi-Fi here on Long Island, New York. They have it all over the place, which is.
Well, I thought you might be away from your regularly scheduled equipment and hardware. If you're,
I sure am.
Okay, that's the point I was making.
You must be out at one of the groupies' house or something.
Well, don't tell her I said that.
Well,
Chances are she's not watching.
She can't hear from all the way down there. Come on now.
Now you ran. I know there might have been a couple of guys that ran their spoiler down a little bit. I know on Friday night some guys made some changes after that race Wednesday night, and there definitely were a few guys running their spoiler down a little bit on Friday. But I believe you had your spoiler down at around 60 in this race. Is that right?
I brought my qualifying down to 59 and 60 for the race. That is correct. And just the way it's set up, man, it's not loose. It turns so wonderfully, especially in the middle. That's where I seem to really be able to gain some time on people or pull away from people. It's right through the center of the corner. As I get on the throttle, it makes up a gap. If I hit those spots right, it seems almost uncatchable. I wish I was professional.
It seemed like Wednesday night, just about anybody who got behind you, they could pull to about 2-3 tenths and just couldn't seem to close that gap. I know a lot of times when you lay that spoiler down like that, you have to tighten the truck up in other ways, and sometimes it ends up hurting you in the long run because you'll burn off your front tire. You've had to tighten it up so much, but that wasn't the case with your truck. I think you had a great truck all the way through the fuel run, and it really didn't burn the tires up, and it was fast the whole way.
It did not burn the tires up. Barely half of the right side and 1/4 of the left side, but it really was driving off the right rear. It wasn't too hot, but it really wasn't pushing in any kind of way where the fronts would get worn. And it lasted pretty much the whole run. It did different things. Every 7 laps you'd feel it change, but as long as you knew what was coming up, just hold on to it and hit the spots. And it was all about good pit stops, which unfortunately hindered me later on in the week. But everything just worked out on Wednesday. It was a fantastic race.
Well, let's go over and take a look here at the race results from Wednesday night's truck race.
Top 5 bonus point guys. Mayhem with the win. Texan second gets 2. Magoo gets 1. Pockets gets 1. And Hot Rod rounding up top 5 gets 1.
So everybody who's here on the spotter stand tonight gets some bonus points on Wednesday in the truck series. Mayhem, again, dominated that race. You can see he led 83 laps out of, I believe it was a 100-lap race. Led 83 of them. That's over 80% of the race. great job, man. Great truck. And we know we've all got some work to do before tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is going to be a points race in the truck series. Now we've got only one segment in the trucks before the chase. So we are 7 races in to this truck series so far. 6 races left to go before the end of that segment and the chase starts. So we've got some work to do before tomorrow night if we hope to catch BSR Mayhem in this truck series.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, and see, it's a little bit different on Wednesday night because there's no segments to rely on, no bonus points to gather up and reset. So this carries all the way through. So we're back to regular. The Mayhem got the bonus points last week at the All-Star event, the truck series. Now we're back to regularly scheduled racing. Get it while you can. These are the important races. You know, it's back to you have to win to get a bonus point. So we're back to the regular schedule. So, but it is at Charlotte. Everybody's kind of on top of their game after last week. So it'll be interesting to see for sure.
Well, I know the regular points didn't change this last week since these were special event races, but I thought I'd go ahead and include the points, see where everybody can see where they stand going into this next race here at Charlotte. And currently leading the points in the truck series, it is BSR SS Joba, with BSR Pockets in second place, only 1 point behind. BSR Mayhem in third, only 7 points back. We got Vince Conway sitting right there in fourth place, down by 11, and Monty Keller rounding out the top 5, down by 15. That's pretty close there, Pockets. And Mayhem only 7 points back in third place. Mayhem, if you can manage to pull off another victory tomorrow night, depending on where Pockets and SS finish, you could move up to the lead in this series.
That's my goal. I really want that to happen. I'm not going to overdrive it. I'm not going to overdo it. I believe I have a winning truck. I just can't beat myself. And if somebody catches up to what I have, what I'm running, then we'll have some killer racing, and that's totally cool too. I would love to eke out this win and move up there and have a little cushion for a moment. Because I know next week, I believe the week after we go to Pocono. If we do that in the trucks, I'm a little sketchy on that.
Texas.
No, the trucks are off after Charlotte.
And then
they go to Texas the week after that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to that there.
And Texas on top of
another bonus point race.
Absolutely.
Yes.
On top of being a standard points race, it is a bonus point race as well. You know, another name I'm looking at here in the top 5, look at Vince Conway up there in fourth place. Only down by 11 points in this truck series.
It had a terrible race Wednesday. Terrible.
Well, this last Wednesday, good for Vince was a just a bonus point event, and it didn't count toward these actual points. But tomorrow night will count, and hopefully Vince will have a little bit better luck tomorrow night than he did this last Wednesday.
Absolutely.
And that's a Ford Raptor F-150, by the way.
Oh,
I don't know where you saw an Escort, but that's cool.
Yes, I'm also running a Raptor in that series. Mayhem.
I was thinking, back in the Courier days, Ford Courier. I don't know if you guys remember those. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the bonus points in this truck series, as they have changed a bit. And you'll notice that I did make sure they were all updated. SS Joba's win from Kansas is now showing over there in the winner race column. And we've got the All-Star race down there, center left. BSR Mayhem taking the lead with 3 points. Myself, I finished in second place. I brought home 2 points. BSR Magoo finishing third, Pockets fourth, and Hot Rod fifth, all also brought home a point. And Mayhem, with those 3 points, moves up to tie for the lead with 5 bonus points total so far in this series. Myself grabbing the 2. I've also moved up to 5 bonus points. Let's see, Pockets there has moved up to 4 with his point. Hot Rod has moved up to 2, and Magoo makes a showing on the total bonus points with 1 bonus point. With that bonus point he's got. Now, Magoo, kind of a limited schedule so far this season. He's had some shoulder problems, hadn't been able to run a whole lot of races, but he's been getting back into it with us and managed to grab himself a bonus point in the All-Star race on Wednesday.
That's what those All-Star race events are for right there. Kind of level the field a little bit, get you a leg up, get you into the competition. So people are realizing it and going out there and racing hard when they need to and getting those points.
Well, let's take a look at Thursday night. Thursday night we ran the Cup Series, also Charlotte All-Star race in the Cup Series, and Thursday night it was once again BSR Mayhem taking yet another victory and 3 more bonus points off the board at Charlotte Motor Speedway. This time running the number 4 Drunken Cow Jerky Ghost flavored car. Again, Mayhem with a great race in the Cup Series, managing to bring home the victory, bring home 3 bonus points towards his chase in this series. Mayhem making some championship runs this season, having some great races in all of these series, and all these bonus points are definitely going to help come chase time, man. Another great win, another good job, man. Great job there, Mayhem.
Thank you. This race was awesome. This was a lot of good racing up front. I did not have the winning car. It was fast and it had its moments, but it was loose coming off the corners, and by the end of the run, guys that were able to save their stuff were definitely faster than me. I lucked out with some 2 tires and some good pit strategy, but yeah, I was not the winning car, but the racing was amazing.
Who was amazing?
The racing.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely was. That was, man, that's Charlotte. Man, Charlotte's produced another week of intense competition, man. I mean, everybody was just fighting and digging all night long.
It's great side-by-side stuff. I know with Texan I had some runs, with Momo I had some runs. It was just some fantastic stuff.
And I believe we had green flag pit stops all 3 nights, did we not?
We definitely did on Friday, and I'm pretty sure we did on Wednesday, but I'm not positive we had a green flag stop on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Thursday myself. For some reason, I want to say we did, or at least maybe some of the drivers.
I think we got really close, but I don't necessarily know that we did. That's why I was kind of hesitant to say we did on Thursday.
Yeah, there was absolutely some great racing. A lot of good side-by-side, people side-by-side for multiple laps. I know, like Axel said, or Mayhem said, him and I had some good side-by-side racing in this particular race. And, it was a lot of fun. I had a blast racing Thursday night. Let's take a look at the results from Thursday night's Cup race at Charlotte.
Yes, with 5 points, Mayhem with the win. Great win, Mayhem. Jimmy Dale brings home 2 in second. Texan gets 1 in third. Monty Keller gets 1 in fourth. And Momo 1, rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, and speaking of... Go ahead, Pockets.
I was going to say, Texan, explain to us, tell us what happened on the last lap going to the checkered flag there.
Oh, that was Friday night.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
was
Well, Jimmy Dale finished second. All right. There was still, though, Jimmy Dale, is that not the one that Jimmy Dale came from the back?
Absolutely.
He started last on the restart. What was there, 2 laps to go or 1? I can't remember.
2. There might have been 3 to go at the restart, but either way, it was just a few laps. I know after we took the caution flag, I believe we had to go around another lap to complete the race. But yeah, Jimmy Dale started at the very back, literally the last car in line on the restart, and there just happened to be 2 incidents.
2 separate, yes.
Yeah,
2 separate, pretty good wrecks.
Yeah, and the first one The first one, it was just, I mean, Jimmy Dale was fairly close to that first one. It was just like the sea just opened up and split for Jimmy Dale, and he was able to go right through the middle of that first one. And there were several cars involved in that. And that moved him up to about mid-pack, maybe somewhere a little further than mid-pack. And then that's what brought the caution out. Everybody is racing back to the caution. And in the battle up there at the front, there was another incident, another one. Jimmy Dale luckily had a little bit of a gap on that one, and he was able to see what was going on and go where he needed to miss that. And that's exactly what he did. Jimmy Dale missed that next incident, sailed right through to second place. So started dead last, and within one lap, made it to second place, finished in second place, brought himself home 2 bonus points. I barely made it through that. I caught a little piece of Momo, who was in the incident, but I think it was so close to the start-finish line that Momo ended up spinning across the start-finish line in 5th place. But man, that was a hell of an ending to a race, especially for Jimmy Dale.
I've seen a lot of wild things. I've seen a lot of close, narrow. How did he do that moment? That was without a doubt one of the best ones I've ever seen. It was so great that second place, how he got second place, far outweighed and overshadowed Mayhem's win. I'm just kidding, man. I'm just playing, dog. Congratulations to you on your win. You get the bonus points too. But that was worth mentioning because I remember that. It was like he started that restart dead last and finished second because he made it. He was one of the only people that made it through all of that besides the winner, because evidently something must have happened right behind you, Mayhem, right before y'all. You must have got a good view of that in your mirror.
I probably did. I kind of all 3 races.
I know how when you're coming out of turn 4 headed and you're the leader, you're not really looking at your mirror. You just keep looking at that line up there where he's waving that flag's what you keep looking at.
I wanted to win 2 races, at least 2 races in one weekend, which I've never done here at BSR. So that was exciting for me anyway.
I don't know that anybody's won 2 of the All-Star events in a row, have they, Texas?
Isn't Thursday the night that RJ got into the back of Mayhem?
Nope, that was Wednesday.
No, he didn't run Wednesday.
I think that maybe that was actually Thursday. That was the last, I believe that was the second incident, because RJ, I believe.
Yes.
The first one, he did run into me on Wednesday, a slight bit, remember, and then I held my brakes.
He didn't race on Wednesday. He's not even on the export for Wednesday.
Maybe it was Friday then.
I think
because I don't think even if that had been on
I'm almost positive that's the part of what Jimmy Dale missed. That was the second part of, I think it was the first part of what Jimmy Dale missed, and something happened on down the track, and he had to get through that also, is what happened there.
See, even Momo said that it was Thursday.
10-4.
Maybe it was earlier in the race, because RJ, it shows 4 laps down. And if that had happened in that race
it happened with 4 to go, and RJ was done.
He pulled over right then. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we only went around like one time after we took the caution. We must have gone around several times then after we took that caution.
Yeah.
I've got some pretty serious thunderstorms rolling up here on me, so if something happens, my power went out. So just let y'all know.
Now, in this series, we are finishing up segment 1 tomorrow night at Charlotte. So on top of being a regular points race, it will be the end of segment 1, and the top 5 at the end of the segment are all going to get some more bonus points toward their chase. So I figured I'd put the points up here. We can all see where we stand going into Charlotte, last race of segment 1, who's battling for those top 5 positions. Let's take a look here at what we've got in the Cup Series. Currently, Rick Craddock holding that top spot with a commanding lead there over Terry Scott in second place, 16 points back. Monty Keller sitting in third, back by 20. Brain Fade in fourth, down by 21. And Pockets rounding out the top five, down by 29. Then you've got myself just sitting just outside of the top five, down by 33. And SS Joba lurking back there, down by 40. So I would say Rick Craddock has got those 2 bonus points for that top position pretty much sewn up. I don't think
I don't know
anybody.
if I'd say it.
You think Terry Scott? Well, I mean, maybe if Rick finished somewhere close to
Mathematically, yes.
it, mathematically
If he
it's
had-
possible. It is.
If he has the same trouble that he had during the All-Star race, absolutely Terry Scott could get him.
And he's due some trouble too. He's been walking out in the rose garden the last couple of weeks. Time for him to maybe brush up against a thorn or something, and Charlotte be the place to do it. He didn't. Larry brought up a good point there. That's what I'm referring to is that it hasn't been a stellar week for him at Charlotte.
Well, he's got 4 wins so far in segment 1 in this Cup Series. He has been the winningest driver by far because out of all the series, I believe 2 wins is the most anybody has in any other series, and Rick Craddock with 4 in this Cup Series. So he is due some bad luck, and definitely it is mathematically possible for Terry Scott to take that spot away from him. And Pockets, currently I'm only 4 points behind you, trying to edge my way into that top 5 position there.
I think you're due a little thorn too.
Yeah, and don't count out SS. He is only
Now look, here's the way
11
we need
points
to-
off
all
of the
here's
top
the way
5.
we need to look at this. Let's see. Well, Brain and Monty Keller, that's 8 points, 8 positions. Maybe a couple of those guys could fall, and both of us could rise up together. But
It's possible. I mean, it is Charlotte. It's going to be some good hard racing. You know, last race of segment 1. We saw some pretty good racing last week
Sorry,
in all
Brain.
3 series. So, yeah, I bet your Brain Fade's out there watching. So,
I
yeah.
don't wish bad luck on any of them. I hope they all do good. I hope I'm right up there doing good with them, because all I got to do is just, let's see, I got to finish what, 5 or 6 positions ahead of you. No,
You could finish a couple of positions behind me and still have that.
Okay, we'll go with that. I
Yeah.
can't finish no more than 2 behind you, and I'll be safe. So yeah.
All I'm going to say, and I'm just going to throw this out there, there's a lot of guys that aren't nowhere near that top 5 that ran really good at Charlotte that you better watch out for.
And Charlotte, man, I'm telling you, that track is
Momo.
tough.
Momo had a really good car, so you better watch out for the Momo this week.
Yeah, he
Momo
did.
says 160 laps, anything can happen. At Charlotte, that Humpty bump on the back and the way it's fast and that, man, I'm telling you, that thing that's a bone crusher.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Exaggerate about Momo's car, please.
Well,
And there's Brain Fade throwing in. He got new steering wheel for this week.
What kind of
He's all
steering
set
wheel
to
did
go.
you get?
He got
I bet he
920, I
He
think.
got a 920.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Brent's saying it could go ugly.
Uh-oh.
It could go pretty as well, though, Brent.
It could go
Yeah,
real
it
well.
could.
I think it's
Yeah.
probably going to go better than he probably anticipating. That's bad news for me.
Yeah, Momo makes a good point there with the 160 laps because we only
It's
ran
gonna be tough.
100 laps in these All-Star races, and
I do know one thing. On Wednesday night or Thursday night, I definitely will not be running the same setup I ran last week. It will be 100% different. I'm putting the long distance set in next week.
Well, I'll be running the same set Thursday night. That's for sure. Of course, I did share that setup. It is Indy File Browser for any of you guys who want to grab it. I'm going to be making some changes, I think, to my CTS setup because Mayhem was just too hard to catch on Wednesday night and on Friday night. I know Terry Scott did make some changes to him, and he was up there challenging Mayhem a bit on Friday night. So, some changes are definitely in order for that CTS setup for Charlotte. But I got a pretty good set in the Cup, so hopefully I won't have any of that. How did you put it, Pockets? I won't have any thorns.
Torrance
No
walking out in the
thorns.
rose garden.
Well, let's go and take a look here at the bonus points for this Cup Series as we get ready to wrap up segment number 1. You see, we've added our all-star race in there. BSR Mayhem picking up another 3 bonus points. Jimmy Dale with that last place to second place finish, picking up 2 bonus points. Myself, Monty Keller, and Momo all picking up 1 bonus point. And Momo, with the 1 bonus point, manages to retake over the lead in the Cup Series, moving himself back up to 5. Mayhem with 3 bonus points. Believe it or not, those are his first bonus points in this Cup Series. No victories in this series yet for Mayhem, and no top 5s in any of the other bonus point paying races so far. So Mayhem on the board up there with 3 bonus points. Jimmy Dale also his first bonus points in the Cup Series, moves up onto the board there with 2 bonus points. Monty Keller moving up to 3 bonus points with that point he earned this last Thursday, and myself moved up to 4 bonus points. So I tied Rick Craddock there with 4, but Momo, great job, man. You moved back up, took over the lead. You've held that lead pretty much the whole first segment, except for last week when Rick Craddock, or the week before last, when Rick Craddock was able to move up and tie you with that win there at Kansas. Moves yourself back into the lead as we head into Charlotte for the last race of segment 1. And as you can see in that segment 1 box up there, top right center, the victor is going to bring home 2 bonus points, and the next 4 are all going to bring home 1 bonus point. When we wrap up this segment, Hot Rod and I are going to be going over all the races, see who made their allotted number of races, and if you made enough of the races, you're going to get 13 points, as though you showed up to every single race that series. If you didn't make enough races, you'll get a point for every race you showed up to. So everybody who has been in this series so far, I think that's about 26 drivers. There's going to be 26 names in that totals box after next week. Everybody who's attended a race will have some sort of bonus point going into the chase, either however many races you've made or your 13 plus whatever bonus points you've had already. So bonus points are about to change a lot after this week's racing at Charlotte.
And then they got a whole other segment to try to either expand on their lead or play a little catch up. So that system works out great, I think.
Absolutely. Plus, we've got the full season. We are keeping track of the full season down there. So in this Cup Series and Xfinity Series, you'll have the segment 1 bonus points, segment 2 bonus points, and then the entire full season will be added together as well. And those top 5 drivers over the entire season are also going to receive some bonus points toward their chase. So let's go on in and take a look at Friday night, the Xfinity Series. Once again at Charlotte. And we know we run the CTS physics in this Xfinity Series, so pretty much the same setup as Wednesday night. We were all kind of expecting BSR Mayhem to bring home yet another victory with that awesome setup that he has for the CTS physics. But that was not to be. This week on Friday night, it was BSR RJ Rusty in that number 2 Medicine Chest Pharmacy machine, Ford Mustang. Fords, it's just Fords all week this week. Got the Ford in every single series. RJ Rusty bringing home the victory on Friday night at Charlotte and picking up 3 bonus points toward his chase in the NXS Xfinity Series. Great job, RJ.
Yeah, that was another great race. I blew it on a pit stop. Terry Scott, Uncle Terry, he said, "Yup, that's going to be a killer right there." We fouled each other out. He had a bad pit stop as well, and we just could not get by Rusty. I think we had a restart at the end there, and too many cars.
I tell you, that 2-car gave you all you wanted all week long because he was in second place going to the checkered flag or last lap there and had a little trouble in Thursday night's race, then comes back Friday night and shows that was, he's legitimate and he gets 3 bonus points, bam, just like that. That's like winning 3 races in one.
Yeah, and this race also had a hell of a wreck going back to the racing back to the last little lap there. I was actually involved in that a little bit and ended up, I think I got loose, spun down the track, came back up the track. I ended up slamming into Brain Fade and knocking him just out of the top 5. He was, I believe, in 4th place, and I ended up slamming him and knocking him out to 6th place. Somehow I ended up crossing the line somewhere up in 3rd or something like that. So I was going to get a bonus point, and Brain, after I ended up hitting him in that caution racing back to the line, I knocked him out of bonus point territory, whereas he would have had one had it not been for that incident. So, yeah, I felt it was the right thing to do. It was a race back incident, and, I should have been claiming that anyway. So, thank God the race wasn't over. We still had to go around a couple of laps under caution. I was able to go into the pits. I think Brain actually had to go into the pits as well because in the incident,
Drop debris.
yeah, I damaged his car and he got a black flag for dropping debris. But we both went into the pits, him to serve his black flag and myself so that I could just slow down and let Brain pass me. Brain was able to, once we entered the pits, he was able to pass me, cleared his black flag while he was in the pit stops, and also made it into the top 5, got his bonus point that he should have gotten. I had to give up mine, but, it was the right thing to do because Brain deserved to have that point. He would have been in it if I hadn't wrecked him like that. So I'm just glad that he didn't get wrecked out far enough to where he was able to gain that one position and get that bonus point back. So it was another hell of a race back to the line. Hell of an incident. Another great race Friday night. We had green flag pit stops on Friday night and a great race. I think we only had a few cautions that entire night. I'm really expecting this week to be about the same way. We're going to have some great racing tomorrow night in Charlotte in the trucks and in the Cup Series and Xfinity Series. So let's move over here and take a look at the race results from Friday night's Xfinity race. You there, Larry?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. You didn't say. Let's look at the top 5.
I said just look at the results, the race results.
Yeah, I missed it. I'm sorry. I was sleeping, I guess. Yes, RJ Rusty with the win gets 3. Momo second gets 2. Mayhem gets 1. Terry Scott 4th gets 1. Brain Fade rounding out the top 5 gets 1.
Yeah, and Mayhem once again dominating that race, leading 67 laps. Like he said, bad pit stop at the end, pit strategy, that's where it's all about. You have one bad pit stop, and it can definitely hurt your night. Didn't hurt him too bad, though. Still pulled off a 3rd place and did bring home at least 1 bonus point in the Xfinity Series towards his chase. And go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, they took 2 tires in front of me, which if I had taken 2, I might have beaten them out of the pits, even with the crappy stop. But though that extra seconds they gained by not taking the 4 tires, that really helped them, and just could not get by them. They were 4 wide by themselves, which they should be in the last few laps, and couldn't get around them clean. So he's had to settle for 3rd. But then again, great racing. It's awesome. I'd rather finish 3rd knowing I raced my butt off than just riding around.
Well, Larry and I were talking earlier today, and Larry said that he felt like that there was going this week at Charlotte in these races, there was going to be a lot of green flag runs, and so he was he was considering that as part of the race strategy. And this is a much longer race. It's almost, I mean, it's 75, almost 75% more, 60% more. It's 160 laps. It's not that you got to get a top 5 or you failed miserably. It's a top 5, top 6. You may be glad you get, as opposed to what you could get in 160 laps, because that's what was different about last week, that all-star event. It was go for broke. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to worry about it because of the points. Well, now you got to worry about it because of the points. It's just what I'm saying. You might not be able to take the chances that you would last week to finish 14th if your chance fails. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
Not only that, but in this long of a race, 160 laps, you're going to have to worry about failures. Breakdowns. You gotta keep that motor running. You gotta make sure you keep that water temperature down. You don't want your light on for a good portion of this race, that's for sure, because it's a long race, and engine failures, breakdowns, they're bound to happen in a long race like that.
The longest race we run.
Transmission's going to be breaking gears. There's going to be lots going on this week.
Well, let's take a look at the point standings here. Friday night Xfinity. We are also going to be wrapping up the end of the first segment this Friday at
User
Charlotte.
disconnected from your channel.
See you, Mayhem. Busy man. We're glad he could join us here for the portion of the spotter stand that he did. He did a great job this week, bringing home 2 wins and bringing home a bonus point in the Friday night race as well. So currently in this Xfinity series, I'm not sure how, but it looks like I am leading the Xfinity series. BSR SS Joba in second place, down by 15. Brain Fade and Monty Keller tied for third, down by 17. And BSR Pockets holding on to that top 5 spot, down by 20 points. And once again, Pockets, you've got your fight on your hands there for that 5th position. You got Terry Scott sitting right outside the top 5, down by 22. But you're a little closer to those 2 guys in front of you. It's the same 2. Look at that. Monty Keller and Brain Fade. The same 2. Oh, wait a minute. Nope, that's the right points. Yeah. Monty Keller and Brain Fade, the same 2 drivers that are in front of you on Thursday night, but they're only ahead of you by 3 points this time. So,
yeah, and you look right there behind Terry Scott. Look at all that breathing room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
20 points back to Steve Looney, but Terry Scott 2 points, and he ran really good this past Friday night. He was up there challenging Mayhem. I believe
User was moved to your
he
channel.
did pull off a top 5. He did get a bonus point, and
I know exactly what you're thinking. I know exactly what you're thinking. Is that you sure are glad you're in first place and not 2 points ahead of Terry Scott for 5th place.
Absolutely. When I first saw this and I was in the lead, I was about to ask Larry, do I have the right point standings up here, Larry?
So he came back from he actually came back from that bad finish, and he's clawing his way back up there, but he's just steadily he gets the best finish he can. He gets a good finish. He don't bring home much tore up stuff. He really doesn't.
Well, that's why I wanted to put these standings up here, because we're coming into the last race of the segment. Top 5 does matter at the end of this segment, and to give us all a chance to see where we stand, who's in front of us, who's behind us, who's fighting for those top 5 positions and that extra bonus point going into the chase. And it's close right there. I mean, you're going to have to keep your eye on where, not only where Terry Scott's at, but where's Monty Keller at, where's Brain Fade at. and possibly even SS Joba. You're only 5 points behind SS. So, there's a possibility if you finish in front of, a couple spots in front of just one of those guys, Brain Fade or Monty Keller, then you could afford to have Terry Scott gain some points on you. But it's you're gonna have a few drivers to watch out for while you're racing Friday.
Well, I can tell you that's one of those situations where you hope you get ahead of a guy like Monty and Brain, even though you don't want to see nothing bad happen to them. You'll still take those positions if it does. And that's part of you make sure you keep your car clean in case something happens to one of those unfortunate. And you don't want to see happen just in case it happens to them so that you can capitalize on it because you're going to need to, because they're going to be right there. And that track, and as fast as that track is and as fast as things happen, it's definitely, you got to look at it from that perspective. I'll tell you.
I was just talking about engine failures in a long race, and we know these CTS physics are famous for blowing an engine, running a little bit too much tape. This might be a race for 55 tape instead of 60. We usually run that 60 tape at 70 degrees in the CTS physics, but being such a long race, I'm gonna have to look at my setup and see where my temperatures are, because if they're even if they're not 220 and it's not bringing my light on, if they're even close to the edge of where it would bring the light on, I think I'm going to drop it down and run 55 tape just to make sure the engine doesn't get anywhere near 220 for any kind of extended period.
Not a bad idea. And you got to remember, you can't speed shift a truck. You'll tear a gear out of it. You hear it every time we get in them. The CTS physics, those NXS cars, same gearbox, same gear configuration, and you'll rip a gear out of that thing, man. Just I've done it before, not even really to understand how but it'll happen.
Well, let's go over to the bonus points for the Xfinity Series as we head into the last race of segment 1 for this series as well. Got our all-star top 5 finishers up there. RJ Rusty bringing home the 3 bonus points for the win. BSR Momo sliding in there in second place, bringing home 2. And you got Mayhem, Terry Scott, and Brain Fade all bringing home a single bonus point for themselves. And RJ Rusty slides in there with his first bonus points in this series, putting him at 3 over there on the totals box. Momo moves up in bonus points to 5. I believe that's going to tie him for the lead. No, puts him 1 spot off the lead. Pockets still holding the lead in this series with 6 bonus points, dominating the bonus points in the Xfinity Series there, Pockets. But Momo with 5 in the Cup, now with 5 in the Xfinity Series. He's right behind you. Mayhem moving up to 3 bonus points in the total. Terry Scott moving up to 2. And Brain Fade moving up to 2 bonus points. Pockets, man, you've been doing a great job here in these special event or bonus point races. It looks like you do have 1 victory in this, and it was the season opener at Daytona, which brought you 3 of those bonus points. Then you picked up another bonus point in the AK Daytona and 2 bonus points in the Spring Texas race, finishing second place there. So you've been definitely capitalizing where it counts in these bonus point races, and so far holding down the lead at 6 with just 1 race to go in segment 1. So if you can bring home another top 5 in that segment and get another bonus point here at Charlotte, plus you're going to get your 12, I believe, for segment 1 of the Xfinity Series, you may just end up the first half of the season holding the lead in bonus points.
11.
12 next.
Yes.
12 next segment.
Yes.
So where is the next bonus point event? That'll be after this segment,
Daytona,
right, Larry?
It's Daytona for the 4th of July weekend.
Okay,
No, Brain Fade, in answer to his question out there, he's showing that All-Star race doesn't show in win a race. No, it does not, because it's not a regular points race. So I don't add the name of the All-Star winner over there to the winner race, because it's not a regular points race during the season. It's a special event only. These
Yes.
other like the AK, since that wasn't part of the regular season, SS doesn't appear over there for that win, but he does appear over there for the win in the Spring Texas race, because that was a regular points race. Same with Pockets at Daytona, because it was a regular season points race. But since that All-Star race is special event only, that name doesn't go into the winner race column. And it doesn't get him in the Victory Lane Club either.
Yeah, that's for the season. That's for the no.
Now, if he can win, if he can manage to win Wednesday night or Friday night, then we'll give him his keys to the
I
Victory
think
Lane Club.
is RJ not once? I thought he did win a race earlier this season.
Did he?
No, not RJ.
No, maybe not.
Would have
Maybe
had to
that
been
was his first win this year.
Well, let's go look. Let's see the cup. I'll pull the cup back up right quick. Nope, I do not see RJ on the cup wins.
He's not the truck either.
Let me bring up the truck bonus points right quick and see if we see him on there. No, RJ not in the truck win column yet either. So no, RJ has not yet earned his key into the Victory Lane Club.
Well, there you go. Hey, we're going back there, so that might be a shot for him to earn that very coveted key. Oh, one other thing I wanted to say about Terry Scott earlier too is that I don't know how many people have noticed. When's the last time you seen him with a DNF?
Not very often. It
And
doesn't
think
happen.
about yourself. When's the last time you had a DNF compared to Terry Scott?
Well, Terry Scott is one of those drivers that, he's a points racer, and even with a damaged car, he'll hang in there. He may have a bad finish here and there, but even with a damaged car, he will hang in there and pick up those attrition spots. Like you guys recall, it was just a few weeks ago. I had a late night at work, and I got somebody sign me in the server, but I had to actually start the race. 40 something laps down, 30 something laps down. But I ran the whole race, and I did pick up, several spots due to attrition and other guys, leaving out. And I know that matters in the end, especially when you're looking at trying to make the top 5 in a segment. Those few points are going to matter. And, that Terry Scott, he thinks that same way. A damaged car will absolutely, he'll stay in the race and run as long as he can to get whatever points he can in each race.
Absolutely.
That was that a cup race, Texan?
I believe it was a cup race, and if we pulled those, those standings from the Cup Series, we just looked at them. I think Pockets, what was I, 4 points behind you, just outside of the top 5. So, if I hadn't have gone ahead and started that race 4 laps down, I would have finished. I would have gotten all the way back in last place basically. That would be I think I picked up at least 6 spots or so, 6 spots or more during that race. So I would be 10, 11, 12 points behind you right now if I hadn't come in that race late and went ahead and ran all the laps and picked up the attrition spots that I did.
Absolutely.
It was at Dover, and you finished inside the top 15 instead of inside the top 20, because you would have finished 20th. Or well, actually, you would have finished behind that had you not came in and run at all.
I think I finished 13th.
You finished 14th. As a matter of fact, you were right behind me.
So yes, about 6 spots. 6 points makes a huge difference come the end of this segment. It's going to make a difference for me come this Thursday night. I know I feel a lot better trying to make up 4 points, 5 points than trying to make up 10 or 11 points. it makes a difference, when you hang in there, even with the damaged car in the long run. When you're trying to go for the championship in the end, you want to have every point you possibly can, because as we've said many times in a chase, it can come down to 1 point. Last race, it almost always comes down to not Charlotte, but Homestead. It almost always comes down to that last race at Homestead, and there's usually at least 2, sometimes 3 or more drivers racing for the championship at Homestead.
There you go. That sums it up pretty good. I mean,
it'll be close enough that even 10 points could be the difference between winning and losing, or having a shot and not having a shot. So
I see Momo out there. You see what he's talking. I know it's got to be talking about me coming in and starting the race 30-something laps down, and because I was able to make up some positions there. He's saying that's why we shouldn't allow that. That ain't right. That's my Saturday night teammate. But I guess that's not a Saturday night race, so,
it ain't Saturday night. He's going to throw you right up under the bus.
That's
you got
right.
Bus tracks on your back.
Speaking of Saturday night teammate, let's take a look at the Saturday night team series. We are into season number 38 of the Saturday night team series. Ran at Talladega this last week in the trucks, and it was BSR Scar in the number 83, bringing home the victory for the Beer Bacon team this Saturday night at Talladega. Great job, Scar. Great win, man. And Beer Bacon having another great season this season, season 38. I believe that's your teammate, isn't it, Pockets?
That is my teammate, BSR Scar, man. That was a great race. He ran a smart race. He was there. He was patient. He missed everything he needed to miss, nailed his pit stops. I was fortunate enough to be right there with him, and our other teammate, DJ Champ, was right there with us, and we worked it. I tried to spot for him, and I'd never really done that before. But since I had him on communication and we were right there working together, I was really telling him, what the line on the bottom was doing versus how many was on top, because it was a pretty even number there. And I knew that, you get 6 cars, you add that 7th one. That 7th one is the deal breaker. That's the one you got to watch, because 1 car in a line of 3, make it 4, will pass a line of 3 if they're racing hard side by side. Doesn't matter which lane they're in. So there was some shuffling, and I knew some shuffling was going to go on the closer we got to the end of it. And so I just kind of worked with him there and told him, and our other teammate DJ was right back there in the mix, and he was kind of playing point guard. He was kind of watching us too, and playing safety in case something happened. He'd be in position. So we timed it out just right and stuck with my buddy there, Scar. Good to see him get that win. That's great, because he does all the trucks and cars for these series, and he had to start doing trucks. Was just cars, but he was on board with the idea of doing trucks. So that was hard earned and much deserved.
Yes.
I'm just saying, if I had to lose to somebody, I'm glad it was Scar. That's all I'm going to say. But pure determination split all you guys up, and I gave him everything he could handle coming off of turn 4, baby.
He did. Larry actually kept it from being Beer Bacon 1-2. Teriyaki slipped up in there, and there was nothing I could do. I was committed to stick with my teammate, and I couldn't really deviate from that plan very much to mount a strategy against the 65 hot rod in the Teriyaki car. And boy, I tell you what, he got past me there at the line. But that's the great thing about the team series is that as long as your guy on your team finishes first, then it's mission accomplished.
Yeah, my team had a little bad luck on Saturday night. Momo Momo had already he had plans, and he had let us know that he wasn't going to be able to make it on Saturday night, and just bad fortune. There were some storms that rolled through here on Saturday in my neck of the woods, knocked out my power. Power went out about 2:30 in the afternoon, and I did not get power back until around 10:30 in the evening. So I was also not able to make that race on Saturday night, which left our other teammate Steve Looney out there all by himself on Saturday. And I hear that he had some engine trouble, ended up blowing a motor. So the original team not faring so well this last Saturday night, but we've got a long way to go left in this series. I see you out there, Momo. I don't think we're screwed just yet, buddy. I think we can mount a comeback here. We've got some time. I think we're only 2 races in, correct? 8 races to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got 8 races to go. I think we can mount a little bit of a comeback and give these guys a run for their money before this season is over. Let's take a look here at the race results from Saturday night's team series. The Beer Bacon team, obviously with the victory, bringing home the top points position. Looks like Scar also led the most laps in that race, leading 29 laps. So Beer Bacon maximizing those points on Saturday night. They brought home the victory. They led a lap, led the most laps. So you couldn't get any more points for your team than Scar did on Saturday night. The Teriyaki team, Larry in that 65, bringing home the next most points for his team, bringing home 43. Then you go ahead.
I just want to throw it out there. I only had one more lap
User in your channel timed
led
out.
than my teammate Randy. Randy was on top of his game in that race, was he not, Buckets?
Absolutely. He
He
led
looked
probably
great
more
out there.
laps than he's ever led in a race. He did a great job. Absolutely fabulous. I told him he had, what did he finish 5th?
I'm not sure. I know he
was
finished.
4th.
I know he finished right in there with you guys because he was one of the reasons I got up to Scar off that turn 4.
And speaking of leading laps, it looks like really every driver who brought home points for their team did manage to lead some laps in that race. So brought that extra bonus point home for their team. Brainfade looks like was the top finisher for the hot team. Brought home 39 points. SS Joba, top finisher for Ghost, brought home 38. That's Ray 50, top finisher for the Carolina Reaper team, brought home 36 points. And Steve Looney, top finisher for Original, brought home 34. And that has shaken the points up a little bit with these finishes this last week. Beer Bacon, obviously up in the lead, having another great season this season. But the Ghost team in second place, only down by 6 points. Hot team in third, only down by 9 points. But then we have a 3-way tie for fourth place. The Reaper team, the Original team, and Teriyaki all tied down by 17 points. So it puts those 3 teams back a little ways off the lead, only 2 races in, but 8 races left to go. There's going to be a lot of great racing in here, and anything can happen. So that Beer Bacon team, that's a great team. You know, they had a good run last season. Gave Ghost a run for their money at the end of season 37, nearly caught up and was able to steal that championship away from them. But the Ghost team did bring home that championship in season 37, and Beer Bacon bringing it on in season 38, starting off in the lead and commanding lead. With, I believe, is that two wins? Did y'all win both races? I believe you did.
No, I don't think they did.
No, they didn't. That's right. SS
Won
Joba
the
with the
first
Ghost team. Yeah,
Yeah.
he won that first race all by himself. I might add, he didn't have any teammates up there to help him, and still managed to pull off that victory.
Yes, he did.
User joined your channel.
He had some rough luck on Saturday night, or he would have been a contender, I'm sure.
Who just came in here?
I believe that was Mayhem. No, Furco.
No, Furco.
Furco.
Furco, man.
How you doing, Furco?
I'm good. I just came for the cookies and the milk.
I hear you.
I think
So we're on
Pockets
the
is
table.
already.
I left him some.
Oh, okay. All right.
The other thing we need to address while we're still on the spotter stand, it's still here. No racing Saturday whatsoever this week.
Yeah, I just think that there's going to be people out enjoying Memorial Day weekend with their family and stuff like that, and I think Saturday night's going to be probably a good night for us to take off. We'll race Friday, but not Saturday. Friday I can't do nothing about on the schedule, but we'll just push this weekend and you know what I mean? Because there'll be some people going to picnics and out for Memorial Day, and let's all remember what Memorial Day is for. That's for those who have perished serving our country, and our hats off to them. And out of respect for them, we'll take off Saturday. How about that?
Absolutely. Yeah, and this last Saturday, the Super Truck Series that we normally run on late night Saturday night was rained out. There were several drivers absent Saturday night at the Team Series, and several of those drivers would have run in the Super Truck Series. But since we were a few drivers short, that race was rained out this past Saturday night. There will be no Super Truck Series, no Team Series this coming up Saturday. Those will be back the following week. Saturday night we'll be racing the third race of the Team Series, and we'll be back into the Super Trucks next Saturday night as well.
Absolutely.
Yes, and don't let me forget to get with Mr. Looney and see what we want to do with a schedule.
10-4.
Well, it's been another great week of racing. We got another great week of racing coming up for you guys. Our second week in a row as Charlotte. And I can't wait to get back on the track tomorrow night and see what I can do with my setup. Maybe try to keep up with BSR Mayhem there. We'd like to thank all of you guys who tune in regularly, watch us live every week. Thanks to BSR Pockets and BSR Hot Rod for all the help that they give me here on the spotter stand. Thanks to Mayhem for coming in and joining us this week. And Perko, we're glad you could drop in, even if it was just for the milk and cookies, man. You're welcome anytime. Any of you guys out there that want to join us on the spotter stand, whether you get a victory that week or not, you're always welcome to come in and give us your input on the week's racing, or anything you'd like to talk about while you're here. So with that, we're going to call it a week. We appreciate all you guys, and we will see you on the track tomorrow night at Charlotte.
See everybody, holla.
See ya.
Later, everyone.